the shade with my blues on parade. But now I'm not afraid. This rover has crossed over. Well, if I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street.
You know, I've been reading these cards every week. If you haven't been here before, these cards were written, most of them on August, first Sunday in August when we got here, because I wanted to know from you how you want this place to feel, how you want it to be, what it means to you, all that sort of thing. So this one isn't signed, the name was optional, so I'm going to read it. This person answered the question, what do you want it to be? What do you want Soul Center to be in your life and for others? A friendly place. I want to open my heart to get past fears that close me to others. Ah, yeah. Yeah, that's being very vulnerable and honest and authentic, so thank you. How do you want it to feel? A safe place to grow and be myself and be grounded in order to blossom. Ooh, wow. Yeah. And how will you bless this space? I will try to be fully present. I'll try to be fully present. Wonderful, wonderful. If you recognize this as yours, maybe you want to give a Sunday message, because this is very vulnerable, authentic, and real. And so I congratulate you on that. Wonderful, wonderful, and wonderful goal for Soul Center here. So let's take a deep breath together as we get ready to continue on in our Sunday together. And take a deep breath again and become still right where you are. To feel what it feels like to be completely at ease in this moment. Because I know, and you know, from reading the news, from knowing what's going on in the world, or even in our own neighborhood, that there is a lot of pain, there is a lot of hurt, there's a lot of healing that we could be, that's there to happen, both physically, emotionally, spiritually. And so when we come into the present moment and we feel what it feels like to be grounded in the moment, we begin to vibrate at that energetic place, and that's what we spread in the world. Into the pain, into the uncertainty, into the doubt, into the hurt. With our presence, we bring peace, we bring ease, we bring hope, we bring possibility. Just by sitting and knowing and experiencing that in this moment. For all those in pain, ourselves and others, we bring this. The peace from within, the ease from within. And for that, we are all grateful, and it is. Amen.
You say you want a revolution. Well, you know, we all want to change the world. You say it's just an evolution. But if you go talking about destruction, don't you know that you can count me out?
It was my request. I rarely have a request. But it fits perfectly with my message today, because I want to talk about a spiritual revolution. So I thought, when I thought about that, that's what that song's about, really, is about a spiritual revolution, right? But I didn't start there. I didn't quite start there. Some of you, maybe you're following my foray into this book. I started this book the first of the year. I was caught on page 17 for a long time. So it is now almost May, and I'm on page 36. Thank you, Amy Allen. Where is she? She's not even here today. Yeah. Because I'm getting, I'm getting so much out of it. It's not about getting the book done. It's about, there's just some stuff in here that I want to pause on. And so this is the 7th verse of the Tao. This book is by Wayne Dyer. It's called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. It's his essays on the Tao Te Ching. And here's what he says. Here's what I have underlined and starred and have a double line next to. And it says this: the ego is a demanding force that's never satisfied.
Yes.
It constantly requires that we seek more money, more power, more acquisitions, more glory, and more prestige to provide the fuel it thinks it must have. Living a Tao-centered life rather than an ego-centered life, one removes us from that rat race, as it offers inner peace and satisfying fulfillment. He says, stop the chase and become a witness. Soothe your demanding habits by refusing to continue running after more. Stop the chase. It's easy to say. It's easy to say that, and it's easy even to believe it, right? It's like, yeah, that's what we do. And you go, stop the chase, stop dancing so hard that you can't touch your breath. You need a drink of water?
No, have coffee.
All right. Stop the chase. It's easy to say, yeah, that's, and agree with that. But sometimes it's hard to do because, let's face it, don't we all want a nice place to live, enough food to eat, a good job that brings us a fair wage, health care when we need it? We all want those things. Those aren't outrageous things. But some of those things keep us on the treadmill. They keep us on the treadmill. And the ego is very tricky because once you get some of it, you just want more. It's very seductive, that thing. You just want more. And you want more of that. And you want more of that. And pretty soon you can't even get off the treadmill because you don't know how. You think, I can't do that. Well, yes, you can, but we don't. The ego says, no, you can't. You can't get off of that because more is better. All right? And best is even better than better. And more best is better than best. All right? That's what the ego is saying. But this week I have noticed as I read that, I have noticed how tragedy, accidents, illness, terminal diagnoses, stop all of that. In an instant, when those things happen, our striving and never arriving stops. It all just stops. And we have the time and spend the time to address what is exactly in front of us. All of it goes away in an instant. You can think about that time it happened to you. It might have happened this week. It all just stops. And we bring ourselves exquisitely right to that moment, right there. I've become aware of at least 4 or 5 people this week who fall into those categories. That somebody had a seizure, somebody had emergency surgery, somebody had a death in their family, somebody had a heartbreaking decision to make. Really, whichever way they went, it was going to be heartbreaking. Whichever way. And none of those people were worried about striving and thriving. They were right there. Right there. So what I decided too is we don't have to wait for those kind of things to happen to stop the chase. Because we know how to stop the chase. It's possible to stop the chase. We don't have to wait for the next thing to fall. We don't have to wait for that, the next horror to happen to bring us there. We can go there now. We can go there now. We can stop the chase and still be okay. There are so many people here. Thank you for coming. I'm looking around. And when we stop the chase, it doesn't mean that we don't care about where our life is going. It doesn't mean that we don't have a goal. It doesn't mean that we don't strive in a direction, but it does mean that we do it with humility and gratitude. instead of I deserve this in a way that tramps on everybody else along the way. And the other thing I've decided about it too is that we have got to accept ourselves as an essential part of the whole. Like with humility, gratitude, and know that I am essential exactly where I am. Not when I get this, or not when I get that, or not until this happens, but now. Absolutely now. You know, a couple weeks ago I was getting my blood drawn because I was having my annual physical. And so I went over to Quest Diagnostics on 17th Street, and where I go, and went in there. I was there early in the morning, and there was only one. I was the only person there, and the technician there's name was Christy. And so we had this nice conversation, and my doctor never sent over the order, and so she was, you know. But we just had this very nice conversation about it, and she was in and out of my arm, and the blood was flowing, and I said, you know, you were just so good at that. I said, thank you for being, you know, doing this. I mean, it's an amazing thing that you do. And she said, you know, I used to work on the oncology floor at the hospital. And I said, oh, yeah, I know what that's like. You know, I've had cancer before. And she said, and I really didn't realize how appreciative people were until I worked on that floor. And I was able to do what I did. She said, you know what, I used to think that I was just a phlebotomist, but not anymore. You see how that works? Like, I was just a phlebotomist. When all these doctors, and I'm like, oh my God, to know your value as part of the whole right where you are. Not when you get another degree, not when you're getting on to the next class, but right now. So she reminded me of that lesson. You know, you are not just anything. You are this. You are kind. You are just a phlebotomist. No, I'm not just a phlebotomist. I thought that was just very right there for me. So that's what I was thinking about as I ran across an article in NPR. This is how my weeks go. I just never know exactly how it's going to happen. But I read this article on NPR about Rainn Wilson. Does anybody watch The Office? Okay, so you know who Rainn Wilson is. He plays Dwight on The Office, the sitcom The Office, right? Actually, he's written a book that's coming out in May called Soul Boom, B-O-O-M, Soul Boom, Soul Boom. And he was being interviewed on NPR. Also has a special coming out on Peacock or something called something, I can't remember right now. And they were interviewing him, and here's what he said. Here's the quote then that I read after having this experience and reading the Tao Te Ching and having the conversation with Chrissy, remembering that and stopping the chase and all this. Here's what he said. I realize that fostering hope and joy in others may be our highest spiritual calling. And that is a key pillar to this spiritual revolution. Because the name of the book is Soul Boom, Why We Need a Spiritual Revolution. Okay? Fostering hope and joy in others may be our highest spiritual calling. That is a key pillar to this spiritual revolution. I mean, what if that's true? What if that is true? What if fostering hope and joy in others is our highest spiritual calling? Like, that's pretty darn powerful, if you ask me. That's pretty amazing. And maybe not even our spiritual calling, but the calling that we have as a human race right here on earth. To foster hope and joy in others. Like, I think it is the pillar. I think it is the pillar. I think it is. Like, I can't think of anything more powerful than that. Of treating each other. And you know what? Not just the people who love you and you love them. I'm talking about everybody. All the time. All the time. Like, in everything you do. Not, oh, now I have to become a minister to foster hope and joy. No. While you are doing whatever you are doing to foster hope and joy. However that is for you. Because like I said in the first part of this, like wherever you are, to accept yourself the way you are and know that you are an essential part of the whole as you are now. So fostering hope and joy right there. I mean, yeah, that. Maybe it is. So how would it look? What would it look like? How would it be? So that's what I started thinking about then. How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you foster hope and joy? Like what are some points about that? And I thought about the first thing I thought about was how to look and listen for the good. Because so often we are looking for the critical thing. I mean, I'm the worst with it. I'm the worst. My training as a construction contract administrator, part of it is doing a punch list. The contractor gets done, he thinks everything's beautiful, I go in and point out everything that's wrong. It's like, you missed this over here, piece of carpet's coming up. I mean, it's not fun. And we do that though, sometimes. We look for the thing that's missing, we look for the thing that's wrong. So what about if we look and listen for the good? When I did Toastmasters, anybody been in Toastmasters before? Yeah. So you know how we do a speech evaluation? It's called the sandwich method, right? It's called the sandwich method. So as somebody does a speech at Toastmasters, there's also a person in the audience, another Toastmaster, who prepares a 2-minute or 3-minute speech as a critique on that person's speech. All right? So it's a way to develop those skills as well. So you're sitting there, and the way they recommend that we do it is first you say something they did well, second that you give them a critique, and the third thing you tell them something they did well, right? So you're not just looking for the stuff they did wrong, you're saying, oh, I'm looking for the good, I'm looking for the thing you did really well, and I'm looking for the thing that didn't make sense to me, or that there was a little bit of this or that or whatever it is, and thank you for doing this, and then you end up that way. Yeah, that kind of thing. The sandwich method. It can be applied anywhere. It can be applied anywhere. Here's a poem from Hafiz that applies to this. Here's his this attitude of looking for the good and listening for the good. He said, "Everyone is God speaking. Why not be polite and listen to him?" Yeah, Hafiz, he's gets right to the point. Yeah, if everyone is God speaking, why aren't we listening more? Why aren't we hearing that? Listening and hearing. Yeah. Look and listen for the good. I think that's the way we foster hope and joy in each other. How about this? Choose to exist for more than ourselves and our tribe. Choose to exist more than for ourselves. It's nice. I love some Spiritual Soul Center here. I love us being together. But if this is all the further it goes, it's not good enough. It's not fostering hope and joy in the world far enough, in my way of thinking. Okay? Expand our awareness. Shift our attention to other people. The other church that's here, the church that was here before we got here, Hope Recovery. Hope Recovery. What's that mean? That's right in the title. Hope Recovery, and the byline is, and isn't everybody recovering from something? Mm-hmm. Right? Hope Recovery. Not get down on your knees and pray recovery. Hope Recovery. Well, you could do that too. But hope Recovery. Shift our awareness out. Serve others by being generous with your time and your talents and your treasure, with your money, with your time. How many of us really dedicate our time and listen to somebody in a way that promotes and fosters hope? Not just get her done. I like to get her done. But it's fostering hope to sit and be and listen. Here's what the Tao says about that. Going back a little bit, page 34. Serve the needs of others and all your own needs will be fulfilled. Through selfless action, fulfillment is attained. We don't like to believe this because we're like, how could that work? How could I serve others and then I get what I need? It's all in the attitude. We think it's not possible because we look in the world and say, well, that's not how the world works. Well, that's how it works spiritually. That's how it works. And it always works. It always works. Choose to exist for more than me and my tribe. That's how we sow hope and joy in others. How about celebrate the good that others receive? You know, we have an obsession, so many of us, with winning. You know how many winners there are? A lot less than there are the losers that we call. We all are on that end. Look at the sign. I changed the sign this week. Rejoice in ordinary things and the good fortune of others. I mean, practice that. You know, a true warrior celebrates the winner. A true warrior is not disappointed in not coming in first. A true warrior celebrates others. That is a spiritual warrior. That is one that grounds hope and joy in the world. Yeah? You're feeling it, aren't you? It's true. Rejoice in ordinary things and the good fortune of other. And here's the other thing. Be present to people who are having a difficult time in life. Just be present. Stop trying to fix it. You cannot fix it. If you need to hear this, let me say it again. You cannot fix anybody else. It is impossible. Think about your life. Have you tried before?
Yes.
Has it worked?
No.
I mean, it doesn't work. We like to try though, huh? This time it's going to work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So what do you do when people are suffering? What do you do when people are in pain? What do you do when people are in discomfort, when they're uncertain, when they're in doubt, when they're suffering, when they have this decision to make that's heartbreaking either way? What do? You sit with them. You just sit. Maybe you cry a little bit together. Maybe you look at them and just see them. That's it. Maybe you say something as simple as, or maybe you don't say it at all and you feel like, I believe in you. I believe in you. Now let me tell you what to do. Not if you just do this, everything will be okay. And you know what? Everything will be okay is not true either. Everything will be okay is not a way to foster hope and joy. Because you know what? Sometimes everything will not be okay. Sometimes the person dies. Sometimes the person doesn't recover. Sometimes it just does not work out that way. And so to tell somebody everything will be okay is untrue. But you could be truthful if you said, I believe in you. I see you. I'm here for you. That's, in my way of thinking, fostering hope and joy in somebody. Fostering possibility. Yeah? So, I and you, we are essential parts of the whole. Just as we are. Just as we are. We can accept ourselves there. We can stop the chase. We can still want to improve, take a class, do a study, come to Soul Center, whatever it is. We can still want to expand our understanding. We can do so in a way that we are humble and grateful at the same time. At the same time. And we can start a spiritual revolution right here. Before Rain's book comes out, we can start a spiritual revolution by fostering hope and joy. By committing to that with everybody we run into. That's really it. I'm looking forward to his book. Maybe I'll buy it. Like I need another book. Don't buy it for me. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's plenty to chew on for the week, don't you?
Yes.
It was more than enough for me. I'm going to be on page 36-7 for a while. And reminding myself how seductive my ego can be that takes me down that path of always wanting more. And saying, no, no, no. So let's have a little meditation together, yes? I encourage you to just take a deep breath and relax into your seat. And maybe just ask yourself that question to yourself. How would I foster more hope and joy? How does that look in my life? Maybe there's a person that comes to mind. Maybe it's someone I'm not treating so well. How would I foster hope and joy? Or as I think of going through my normal day, fostering hope and joy, just kind of skipping through life that way. Like, that's how I want to be. It's possible. Let's sit for a while and just imagine that. Just for these few moments in meditation. Here's the seventh verse of the Tao. Heaven is eternal. The earth endures. Why do heaven and earth last forever? They do not live for themselves only. That is the secret of their durability. For this reason, the sage puts himself last, and so he ends up ahead. He stays a witness in life, so he endures. Serve the needs of others, and all your own needs will be fulfilled. Through selfless action, fulfillment is attained. Amen.